What's up, guys, and welcome back. Like from literally 2 minutes ago, welcome back to another video. And this is what if? Sorry, wait, this is good. So yeah, what if Isuku Midoriya was acnologia, the Dragon King, and so on and so forth. As the last time we left off with acnologia, the dragon form acnologia, would his magical power and his physical body would have dispersed magical magical essence itself. In order, his body would have turned into magical essence and magical life force itself, and it then would be absorbed into Midoriya's 8-year-old body, causing a huge power boost inside of Midoriya's body, causing him to age up a bit, like a year or two. Now, after that, 2 years would pass as each and every other Dragon Slayer would have lost their dragons as well, and the 4 other Dragon Slayers who were there would have also lost their dragons as well. As the same thing would go on with them, as that was the last time the dragons were capable of using a body implantation technique which caused them to be rebirthed. So this was the last and final time, and the only way for the lineage of power to go on is through bloodlines right now. That's the only way for it to go on, and later on into the future, in the different generations, there will be one lucky child from their family who will eventually be able to inherit all the magical power. That's why their bodies dispersed into magical essence and entered into the bodies of the dragon slayers, to technically make them dragons themselves. Now that's enough rambling, and let's go. Okay. After the 2 years which passed, Midoriya was still staying into the forest, as he would have found the old cabin where he once stayed. He did get memories of that old cabin, and he would recognize the old scents that were there, the scents of his father, as he would find a cloak like a cloak with jaws on it, a cloak with teeth on it, dragon tooth, which smelled a lot like his deceased mother, even though he never met his mother. But the muscle memory caused him to remember his mother by scent. As he would then take that, even though the cloak was a bit too large for him, he would have stayed there, and he would as a few more years would then later on pass. When I say a few more years, I mean 6 years would pass, making him a total of 16 years. Midoriya would have been looking a lot like acnologia that's in the photo right now. He would have the long blue hair and the tattoos onto his face. And mainly what he would wear was a cloak with a tank top underneath. Well, he would just wear that cloak. As the other Dragon Slayers would have integrated into the city and stayed with the city with humans, although they didn't quite like it quite much. God, I'm running out of. As one day, Midoriya would have ended up finding himself in a battle with another Dragon Slayer, as both Dragon Slayers would have been wounded quite badly, and that Dragon Slayer he found himself in a battle with was a poison Dragon Slayer. Even though I said the certain Dragon Slayers that were alive were currently only the Iron, Fire, Sky, Iron, Holy and acnologia himself. Well, there are certain people who had located ancient ruins, and they would read those ruins, and they would end up gaining magical power. Although that Dragon Slayer he was born into a hunting family as well, as he was ostracized from his family when they found out that he was a Dragon Slayer. As both of them would have been knocked out due to a heavy blow. The poison Dragon Slayer would have been knocked out due to a heavy blow Midoriya landed onto him, and Midoriya would have been knocked out due to a heavy dose of poison he had breathed in for too long. As a few days would pass, and both of them would still be unconscious. As would cut to the perspective of a woman. I don't remember what fucking hair color. As a woman who was currently passing in the forest that day on a little walk, and she would take the 4 different scents. 2 of those scents were both human and dragon, with a mixture of human and dragon, which made her feel inferior, and the other was a tainted scent of blood and death itself. I should head towards those scents, even though she felt quite inferior and intimidated. She would head to the scent, and she would see two young men lying, two young men lying. God, two young men lying onto the ground, as as one of those men out of the two looked like this, and the other was obviously, as we know him, fuck, as the other, as we know him, looks like this. And she would think to herself that she took the scent of a drag, sorry, as she took the scent of a dragon rabbit coming off of them, and even though she felt intimidated, she thought that she had to help them. And she picked both of them in her dragon form, and she carried them towards a nearby hospital. After a few, after roughly 3 hours, the two of them got up from their miniature coma, as they would ask, "Where are they?" As the two of them would sniff the room and take the scent of each other, as both of them would be scowling at each other, as Ryoko would then walk into the room and say, "Ah, I see you two are awake now." As, she, as both of them would ask, "Who the hell are you?" As she'd say, "Jeez, calm down, you two. I'm merely a hero. My name is Ryoko, the dragon hero." As Midoriya would ask, "What the hell is a hero?" As Cobra would go on to laughing and ask, "Jeez, you really are dumb for a Dragon King, aren't you?" As Midoriya would then go, "What the hell did you say, you poison freak?" As Cobra would then throw back at him, "Really, poison freak, huh? You wanna call me poison freak when you're the one who's capable of eating every damn freaking element, which means that makes you a damn poison freak too." As Midoriya would reply with, "Oh, bring it." As Midoriya would reply with, Did you literally hear what did you just say? You said I'm capable of devouring each and every element. That makes you pretty inferior to me." I should say, "Break it up, you two." Now, she'd ask, "Where are your parents and what were you two doing in the forest bloody like that?" As Midoriya would say, "That's none of your damn business. Where my parents are, or who they even are, and why the hell was I in the damn forest? That's none of your damn business." As Cobra would then go on to say, "Me, personally, I have no parents, and the reason why I was bloodied up in the forest is because of this idiot over there." As it point over to Midoriya. As Riku would then say, "So tell me, what are you guys' quirks?" As Cobra would go on to say that I don't have a quirk. What I have is an ancient power similar to that damn idiot over there. Similar to that damn idiot over there. Ryoko would then respond and say, "When you say ancient power, what do you mean? And why would I? What do you mean?" As as my daughter would respond, "What do you mean? What I mean, ancient power? You will be bestowed with the power from an ancient being, the power that is a lesser being of ours, but it's still something similar to us." As she would say, "No, that's impossible. You two can't actually be." As they'd go, "Yeah, you've got that right. We are dragon slayers." As she would go and she'd say, "Okay, so what am I gonna do with you two?" As Midori would say, "I'm gonna get her the hell out of out of this damn hospital and go back to my damn home." She would then go on to say, "Hey you, what's your name?" As Midori would go to say, "What's my name?" "My name is acnologia. Call me by that name. For the name I was given with at birth no longer exists with me. It was taken away from me at a very young age." As Cobra would respond, "The name's Cobra. I am the poison dragon slayer." Ryoko would then say, "It's quite a pleasure to meet you too." And she would ask Midoriya, "So tell me, Acnologia, what about you? What dragon?" As Acnologia would say, "I'm the dragon slayer queen. I mean queen. Sorry, I'm the dragon slaying king." As she would say, a dragon slayer king actually exists. As Midoriya would then go on to say, "Why, of course it does." And as for my parents, as for that little riddle tale I just finished told you, you would obviously notice that I don't have no parents. I am on my own. I should say, "Then how about this? How about I take you two in? How about I adopt you two?" As Cobra would say, I don't mind, but as long as this as long as this idiot learns to be as long as this idiot learns to behaving, as Midoriya would say, do I really have a choice in this? As should say, as Ryoko would then go on to respond and say, well, technically, one responded already, so that means no, you don't. From this day on, after I properly file the papers, this day on, you guys are going to be my sons. As don't worry, I'll bring no ill harm to you. As and you could believe me if you wish to or if you don't wish to. As Cobra would go on to say, no more, I believe you. By the way, I believe you. And the reason for my belief towards you is that I can sense your thoughts and I can hear your thoughts, and you have no ill will towards us. And actually, I could sort of, and I can also hear your inner spirit, which is actually quite calm and nice, and it's quite peaceful and quiet. So I really don't mind with you being my actual mom. After all, I never knew mine. As Midoriya would then go, fine. After all, I don't really have an option now, do I? Fine. From this day on, I suppose you could call yourselves our mom. And technically, that means we could also call each other siblings. I suppose it would be a suiting alibi due to the fact that we are dragon slayers and we technically have dragon abilities, and you have a dragon quirk, right? As shoot, hear me out. As Ryoko would ask, how did you guys know? We could take the smell of a dragon off of you, or at least a dragon transformation off of you. You have been blessed, but you've been blessed with the abilities of us, right? After all, we literally just said that. I should say, yeah, you've got that right. As the next day would pass, they would leave the hospital. I mean, they would leave the hospital and they would head to Ryuko's home. They'd head to Ryuko's home. The house was quite large due to the fact that she was a hero. I believe she was a high-ranking hero amongst the top 10. I think I'm not too sure. Obviously, she was a hero, so obviously she should have had a nice, large house for herself. As with a huge time skip, 10 months later, as they would, as during the 10 months, they, during the 10 months, they would have told Ryoko all about Dragon Slayers and how Dragon Slayers work, and about the fact that why, when Cobra and Midoriya met, the fact that they didn't like each other at the first, but then eventually they began to adapt to each other. They actually grew a bond with one another. Oh boy. And Deku also told about the other four Dragon Slayers, the other four trained Dragon Slayers, but who were trained by a dragon, who actually exist: the fire, the iron, the god, the fire, the iron, the holy, and and the sky. Okay, all right, yes, yes, yes. As like I said, the 10 months would have passed, which means they, instead of doing the entrance exam, they would actually do the recommendation exam, because Ryoko didn't really want them, since she knew about fuck no 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 no. As she knew about how Dragon Slayers don't get along, and she knew that with the fact that she had two Dragon Slayers as a son, if both of them took the entrance exam together, she would know that there would be mass collateral damage. So she put the two of them underneath recommendation exam. So we cut to the beginning of the race they had for the entrance exam. They didn't really no one get to introduce themselves really, because the two of them got there and they actually sat alone. They spoke with one another. As the race is beginning, both Cobra and Midoriya would take a sniff into the air as they would smell another dragon. As both of them would be searching high and low, not knowing which dragon it is exactly. As the teacher would then As the teacher would go off to fire a flare gun, as everyone would start running, as both Cobra and Midoriya would take a slope to see who is the actual, which Dragon Slayer is actually there with them. As all of a sudden they would hear Grandini, the dragon of the Grandini, the sky dragon who soars quite high. Grant me the strength. Sky dragon light burst sky stream. As all of a sudden a gust of wind would be launched past, moving at high speeds, as both of them would say. So, so it looks like the sky dragon is with us. Really? And the melody is, huh? Or wow. As Midoriya would then go, Dragon King. Sorry. As Midoriya would go, Dragon King Stream Force. As a certain, as blue flame like, as a blue flame like aura would begin to form around him, as his speed would be raised tremendously. As Jesus. As Cobra would then go Poison Dragon Light Sword. As Horn Sword, sorry. As he would use the force from that attack, as he would use the force on the trajectory, as he would use the force and projectile motion from that attack to zoom past, as it catch up with the two Dragon Slayers ahead of him. As now I don't really remember his name, so let me check it up real quick. As Inasa would then scoff and say, it looks like there are more than one Dragon Slayer with me as well, huh? Looks like the Poison Dragon and who the hell is that? I have never seen a Dragon Slayer. Like, I have. Exactly which Dragon Slayer is he? He is he the Fire Dragon Slayer? No, that's impossible. I have met the Fire Dragon Slayer before. As he would go, oh well, never mind. As he would see Midoriya, as Midoriya would catch up even closer to him and say, "Hey, focus. You're a Dragon Slayer, aren't you? You're a Dragon Slayer, aren't you? Why don't you give me a little challenge? Your weaklings are you're quite weak for a Sky Dragon Slayer. Grandini was much more powerful than that. As Midoriya would just go roar, as a, as a blast would just launch out of his mouth. As the students would notice this, as they would say, "Whoa, what kind of quirk is that?" As both Cobra, as Cobra would, as Cobra would zoom past Inasa and go catch up with Midoriya and say, "Was that really necessary, dude?" As Midoriya would say, "Ah, don't worry about it. He's the Sky Dragon Slayer. After all, Grandini and her successors, their main forte is healing and support, right? Don't worry, he will be perfectly fine against attack like that." Yeah, whatever. But the fact that you are a Dragon King, you dumbass. No matter if no matter if he's Grandini's kid, he could still die from that. As Midoriya would say, "Jeez, you really are annoying, aren't you?" Anyway, let's go. As we cut back with Inasa would say, "Damn, what kind of attack was that? Not even my Sky Magic was capable of perfectly protecting me from that. If I got hit with that from full brunt, then I would be definitely dead." As he would go Sky Dragon Wing Attack. As he'd end up catching up with them. As he would be, as he'd go Sky Dragon Roar. As Midoriya would just deflect, as two gust streams of air would be launched towards Midoriya and Cobra, as Midoriya would simply just deflect it with his arm, deflect it with an elbow, as Cobra would go Sky Poison Dragon Scales, as he'd block it with as he'd block the attack with his arm, and then he would using his Poison Dragon Scales, and he'd block the attack with his arm, and they would hit. As the as they get to the finish line, Midoriya coming in first place, Inasa coming in second, and Cobra coming in third. And that's where we're going to end it. Bye, guys. I am really tired. I want to sleep. Bye bye. Love you guys. Bye bye.